Hello everyone, welcome to Pikeville History Moments, where we talk about the history and heritage of Pikeville, Kentucky and the surrounding area. This month, in honor of Halloween, we thought we'd allow ourselves to stray a little from our usual fact-based history and indulge in a good old-fashioned ghost story. In the University of Pikeville's Allara Library archives, there is a booklet of a little less than 50 pages entitled Folktales of the Cumberlands. We believe it was produced sometime around 1930 by students under the guidance of two English instructors named Louise Landrum and Bess Alice Owens. There appears to have been nearly 70 students involved in the project, and there may have been some other instructors as well. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see a scrolling list of names for all those students who contributed. We'd love to hear if you are related to any of them. But in the meantime, let's get back to our story. The booklet is divided into 5 chapters, each meant to preserve and celebrate different aspects of life as it had been lived in our area since it was first settled. The chapters were as follows: home, religion, legends, amusements, and facts. For our purposes today, we're going to focus on a spooky little ghost story told by Belva Sowards. Belva had been born in Elkhorn City in 1907 to Lawson and Elizabeth Sowards. Young Belva writes that her grandfather had an encounter with some kind of spirit during the Civil War. At this time, Virginia was controlled by the Confederates, while Kentucky remained in the Union. She reports that her grandfather, who we'll call William, was an officer of some kind, and that he needed to get across the state line on some military business. Being as he lived in the area where Jenkins now stands, he recruited another man from that area named Elkins to go with him. Because they were worried about being captured as they crossed the state line, the two men decided not to begin their journey until after dark. As darkness fell around them, they set out on horseback along Elkhorn Creek, riding single file with Elkins riding in the front. After a mile or so, they drew near to a place where they knew a large oak tree grew out over their trail. Just before reaching the tree, the horses became unmanageable. You can imagine the horses trying to stop or even turn back while the two men pulled at their reins, dug in their spurs, and fought with the horses in any manner they could think of to force them onward toward Pound Gap and their mission in Virginia. Just as they reached the large oak, they heard something leap from it and saw a shadow of something large land on the back of Elkins' horse, nearly knocking it to the ground. The horse struggled with the extra weight and groaned with every step it managed to take. Elkins yelled out, but William was scared into silence. Elkins then tried to wheel his horse around to leap off, but the thing on the horse put its unnaturally large hands on Elkins' shoulder and held him fast in the saddle. In his panic, Elkins reached back to try to determine what had him. What he had felt was cold, damp, clammy flesh, as if he were touching a frog. He turned enough to see that the spirit, or demon, or beast, whatever it was also shaped somewhat like a human-sized frog, and that it had glowing red eyes like burning coals. Unable to move, and too scared to fight or to scream, Elkins found that the horse had once again begun traveling on the path toward Virginia. What he did not realize is that William was also too terrified to act, except to keep his own horse following closely behind Elkins and the spirit. After a while, he was able to come to his senses, and he called out to Elkins, saying, "Just sit still. I'll get rid of that thing, whatever it is." William pulled out his gun and leveled his aim at the shadow of the thing in the dark. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, the spirit behind Elkins let out a supernatural scream that they knew must have been heard for miles around. It leapt from the back of Elkins's horse and landed in the path in front of them. When it touched the ground, the world around them erupted into flames, as if they were in the midst of a coal fire in a great furnace. Just as quickly, the fire was gone and the forest around them was back to normal, as if nothing happened. When they gained their courage and began to ride again, they found themselves fighting with their horses once more. This time, the horses wanted to run, despite the darkness all around them. Several months later in the war, Elkins was riding along the same path when he was ambushed by Confederate soldiers. It is said that the rebels tied Elkins to the same oak tree from which the spirit had leaped on that night months before. There, they shot him to death. Belva claimed that this was a true story told to her by her grandfather. While we won't go as far as to claim it's true, we found out that Belva did have at least 2 great-grandfathers who fought in that war and lived where she said he did. Thank you for watching Pikeville History Moments. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe, or click on the link to our website at visitpikeville.com. We would love to hear any ghost stories or folk tales you may have about our home. Please comment on the video or email us directly at tourism@pikevilleky.gov. We hope everyone has a happy Halloween.